What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be again all about lashes. So today's video is going to be all about how to increase your retention. There's many different things that affect retention, whether it's you as the lash tech or your client. So there's definitely steps that we as lash techs need to take, and then steps as clients that need steps that the client needs to take. Being the lash tech, we are the ones that have to inform our clients of those steps. Okay, so I'm going to start with the lash tech. So being a lash tech, we are the professional. There's so many things that go into doing lashes. It's not just about the skill, it's about customer service, it's about business strategies, there's marketing, there's so many things that go into being a lash artist and having your own business. One thing we always have to remember is we cannot always blame the client, because a lot of the times we don't know who it is, whether it's our fault or the client's fault. It could be either or. So the best thing is not to jump to the client's throat, because they don't take that very nicely. And to be honest, it could be something you did or might have changed and didn't realize. So let's go through a list of things that we as lash techs can ensure that we are doing to make sure retention is optimal. So first things first, back to basics, like make sure you're cleansing your lashes or priming your lashes. I don't recommend you cleanse and prime your lashes, because sometimes you can over dry the lash and then the lash extension won't adhere properly and the glue just won't grab onto the lash. So I do recommend you either do one or the other. Generally for full sets, I would recommend priming, obviously depending on if your client has any debris in their lashes already, but generally I prime my first time clients or full set clients, and then I will cleanse my fills, just because the fills are when the lashes tend to grab makeup, dirt, debris, anything like that, and then that would be the time where you can go in with your cleanser and just take out all of that, and then you don't have to worry about priming. You can just go straight in with your extension. Another thing that is really common, I actually was taught this myself when I got certified, was to swipe the excess glue off the extension after you dip it in. But to be honest, that actually doesn't help in any way. What happens is you're gonna start having the glue cure before you even get the lash onto the natural lash, because once you touch it to something else, whether it's the glue ring or the tape or anything, it's gonna start drying before it should, and then that can also affect your retention. I know a lot of people, they were taught to swipe and then apply to get rid of the excess glue, but to be honest, just dip again and it will kind of like drain the excess glue, and you'll have just the right amount of glue on your extension. Okay, something super simple as well, shake your glue. Make sure you shake your glue. If you do not shake your glue, it will not drop in a perfect bubble and the consistency will be off, and then your lashes, your extensions will slip and slide and never be in the right direction, and then that's when you get lashes that are kind of like wonky, and then you're really just trying to pop it on there. But you need to make sure you're obviously putting it on properly, but you need to make sure that the lash is straight, and the only way you can do that is to make sure your glue is shaken properly and has the right amount of hold and will grab onto the natural lash. Next, check your humidity. This is so important, and to be honest, I didn't even learn this until like maybe like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that humidity affects your glue. I didn't learn that in my training. I'm sure a lot of people didn't learn that in their training. Nowadays, things like this are becoming more and more talked about, and a lot of people know these things right off the bat, so that's amazing. But just make sure the glue you purchase, your adhesive, has the humidity range, and your lash room is in the humidity range. The best thing to do is just to get a little temperature control, just so you can kind of see what your humidity range is. You can get them on Amazon for like $10. Yeah, that's like the best thing to do, just so that way you know you're always in the right humidity. Speaking of glues and adhesive and reading your glue labels, make sure your dry time on your label works with you. As a lash tech, we work at different speeds. When we start lashing to 2 years down the road, we're better, we're at a different level, things have changed. So when you started off lashing, you were probably lashing with maybe like a 4 to 5 second glue, or maybe even a 5 to 6 second glue, which means that the glue takes longer to start to cure, and you have more time to play with the lash and kind of maneuver it, so that way you're making sure you're getting it on properly. But as we work faster, sometimes we are still using that same glue that dries in 5 to 6 seconds, and to be honest, you're already onto the next lash, and you're onto the next lash, and then that's when your lashes end up sticking together, and then you end up with clumps, you get a bad retention, all these terrible things. So make sure that you're using a glue that works with your hand. Another thing that I've only actually recently well, I don't know if anyone has ever talked about it, but this is something that I personally realized was an issue for me. I had ordered new lashes, and the actual lashes were not cooperating well with the glue. I guess like the combination, whether the material of the lash with the ingredients and chemicals into my adhesive were just not a good combination, and I was getting really bad retention. And I knew it wasn't my glue because I've been using this glue for so long and I've never had this issue, but it was the combination of lashes with that glue. It just wasn't working. So this is something that you kind of just have to do trial and error with. You wouldn't just know off the bat unless somebody else has experienced it, but you do have to make sure that you've tried multiple different lashes with your glue to see maybe they're lasting longer with something else and you've only been using this one set of lashes with that glue. So definitely just take that into consideration and keep it in mind that that could be an issue if you may be having that issue right now. Maybe switch your lashes. Maybe you don't have to buy a whole new adhesive, because we all know adhesives are super expensive. So maybe it's not the adhesive, maybe it's the lashes you're using, and just grab another tray just to see the difference. And then something as simple as, are you applying enough glue to your extension? A lot of the times we want to make sure that we're not ending up with those little bubbles on the actual extension, so we tend to put a little less glue, thinking that we're eliminating that part and it'll just adhere really nicely, which it may, but because it doesn't have enough glue to bond properly, that lash just may pop right off. I notice this a lot with classic. Sometimes when you have like a 0.20 that you're working with and the lash itself is pretty thick, you don't want a thick base, or you don't want a thick amount of glue on there, so you kind of put a little bit less just so it'll stay on there, but to be honest, it pops right off. So you do want to make sure that you're giving it a nice generous amount without it bubbling too much, and making sure that it dries before you jump onto the next one, and then you have like 2 lashes that stuck together. And then my last one for lash checks would be, are you bonding enough of the extension to the natural lash? This depends totally on the client's natural lashes and how they curl. Sometimes you have lashes that face downward, and then you have an extension that's maybe like a D curl, and it's literally like just flopping up, and there's a very minimal amount of space that your natural lash is adhering to your your extension is adhering to your natural lash. So you do want to make sure that you're adhering enough of the extension to the actual natural lash, so that way the bond stays really, really nice and tight, and it's not just gonna fly off because it's just like this much of the lash. You do want to make sure that you're picking the appropriate curl to your natural lashes, because obviously D curls are going to be, D curls are dramatic and generally the most popular. Obviously everyone's area is different, but I know where I am, everyone loves the D curl. Some people don't even lash other curls, but the thing is it's not a one-size-fits-all, and you have to cater to everybody's curls. And this is a huge part of retention, because if you're applying a lash that's too curled for their natural lashes, they will pop off a lot faster. So definitely keep that in mind. Maybe try a C or CC and see if there's a difference. Okay, so that is it for lash checks. Now let's talk about your clients and what they need to be doing to make sure their retention is staying super high and those lashes are lasting as long as possible. Simple, simple, simple. Make sure your client is watching their lashes. I feel like people don't emphasize this enough. They show pictures and da-da-da, but clients still think it's a joke because we are not explaining to them exactly what's going on. All they hear now, and it's really, really common, is eyelash mites, but you never really hear too much people have eyelash mites because they're just not talking about it. But the biggest thing I know for my clients specifically isn't even eyelash mites. It's the issue is the oil, and the oil is what's loosening the adhesive, and the lashes are popping off. So I recently had a client that came back to me and she was saying that her lashes are falling off super quick, and so and they're not fluffy anymore. But when I took a look at them, they weren't falling off that fast, but they may have been falling off a little quicker, because I noticed a lot of her lashes were you know when they get that like oily look, like they're just dirty, and they had no fluff to them because they were all kind of not stuck, but like you could brush them out, they were fine, but they were just kind of closed, and they were closing. And the reason was because her lashes were dirty. And I told her, you have to wash her lashes, but the first thing everybody thinks is that you're messing with them and you're playing with them and they're gonna fall off, but they are going to fall. We need to emphasize that they are going to fall off faster if you do not wash them. That is the issue. If you wash them, they will not fall off as fast, and they're a lot stronger than we think they are. So along with washing them, the next thing is we have to make sure we're emphasizing brushing your your lashes. Brushing your lashes are going to keep them straight, keep them in the right spot, and avoid them from popping off, because what happens is if we sleep, sometimes your lashes can like turn and like go in different directions, and all of a sudden they're popping off faster because they're not brushed out nicely and they're looking just like ratty and not good. Obviously these are things we know as lash techs, but we need to make sure that we are emphasizing them to our clients. So you need to ensure your client is not sleeping on their face. Sleeping on their face will ensure lashes pop off like no tomorrow. A lot of clients say that they don't sleep on their face, but they don't know and then they roll over. This is something that we need to talk about, because a lot of times when clients come back to us, we think that it's all their fault, they're doing it, but we need to make sure we're telling them this stuff. And to be honest, when it's something as simple as like sleeping on your face, we as lash techs cannot help that. And if we know you're sleeping on your face, that is not signs for us to give you a refund or for us to do a free fix or anything like that, because that's out of our control, and that's something we warn people about. But the thing is, I see a lot of lash techs that get like trampled and totally run over because they're either not telling their clients these things, or they're just too scared to be like, that's not my fault. And I understand a lot of the times you need to tell your clients like, it's not my fault, but it's not something that you want to be rude about, you know what I mean? So you got to find the happy medium between letting your client know, and the thing is about that is setting your client up with expectations. So in the beginning, when they come in, you need to let them know if it's anything like that, you cannot fix it. That's wear and tear. Things like this happen. It's just not it's not your fault. I feel like I'm rambling, but like I feel like these are things that are in my head all the time and I need to like get them out. Okay. Another thing, so when a lot of times people do wash their lashes and like that's great, but then they're coming back and saying that their lashes aren't fluffy and they don't look how they looked when they first got them done. And sometimes lash techs are like, yeah, I know they're not gonna look as good as they were when you first got them, but that's not true. I have lash extensions on for 2 weeks now and they look great. They look just as fluffy as they did when I first got them done. The fluffiness factor did not go away. I think it's all coming down to how you dry your lashes and making sure that they are fluffed out right after you wash them, or the way that I wash my lashes. I wash my lashes, I do all that, and then when I come out the shower, I literally pat them dry with my towel. Sometimes you don't want to do that because you don't want them to tug on the towel, but something to like pat them dry. I pat them dry and then I just literally brush them out until they're fluffy again. And then if that doesn't work, I always recommend you can blow dry your lashes on a cool setting. Definitely emphasize that it is on a cool setting. You can blow dry your lashes and they will get fluffy again, but you have to make sure that while they're wet you're taking care of it, and not when they're dry, because when they're dry they're gonna stay the way they're dry, and then you gotta wet them again and then fix it all over. Okay, and then also one thing that we do kind of pass over to our clients is that 24-hour period of making sure your lashes cure properly. I think sometimes, especially in the summer, I feel like my clients take it for granted, and a lot of times clients do take it for granted because we don't emphasize it enough. But that period after you get your lash extensions done will determine the next 2 weeks and whether or not you'll have retention or not, because that 24 hours is the period that your lashes need to cure thoroughly. And then a lot of times right now people are getting their lashes and they're going swimming, they're going out in the sun, and then they're sweating, and to be honest, all that's going to affect your lashes and it's going to affect your retention. So we need to make sure our clients are aware that they are not supposed to be going out, they are not supposed to be in the sun, they are not supposed to be in the water. We need to make sure that they are well aware of why they can't be doing these things. Sometimes you just tell people things they don't understand, they don't care, but you need to tell them why. The why is what's gonna help them remember not to do these things. So make sure we're really educating our clients and letting them know these are the reasons why, and this is how you're gonna keep your retention high. Another thing you could recommend too is like a silk pillowcase. A lot of times people sleep on their faces, they sleep on their sides, and the lashes tug and pull. So a great recommendation is telling them to get a silk pillowcase, because then they will not get caught in the fibers, they'll stay nice and smooth, and then your lashes won't pull and tug on them. Obviously, we all know oil is the death of lashes. They will break down any bond, but I think what we also have to understand is that clients don't always know what we mean by oil. We usually just say make sure you stay away from oil products, anything that has oil in it, but there's a lot of things like something as simple as face oils that sometimes clients just think that that's okay. So we need to make sure we're letting them know that no face oils, no skincare products, nothing like that. Make sure your makeup is oil free, your cleanser is oil free, your moisturizer is oil free. Everything needs to be oil free. And then a lot of the times too, we need to let clients know that this means your entire face, because a lot of times people put, they'll still take their oil products and maybe put it like down here and up here and here and here, but when things absorb into our skin, they'll spread, and they can spread. If you have like oil on here, anywhere near here, depending on how your skin takes it in, it can spread and spread into your eyelids, and then now going through the pores on your lids and into your lashes, and then there goes your lashes. So it might not be as fast as a process as actually applying the oil near your eye, but it still will affect your retention and they will fall off. And then the last thing I want to talk about, which is again something we can't control, but we need to let our clients know about this, is their growth cycle. This isn't something we'll know right away when they come in for their first set, but coming into their fills and things like that, we will know when their lash cycle starts to grow a little faster, and we'll realize that it's maybe too fast. And then you have to inform your client like, hey, you need to come in 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, because they don't know that. No one knows what their lash cycle is. No one understands that their lashes grow faster than others. Like we have to understand that people aren't going to know these things. So we as lash techs need to tell them that if that's the case, this is why your lashes could be falling off, because your lashes are growing extremely quickly and they're popping off faster than ever. And in that case, maybe work out an alternative, maybe come in every 2 weeks and maybe have like a lower price or something like that, because it's not their fault, it's not your fault, but try your best to do something to help them want to get lashes, because then at that point sometimes it may just seem like an inconvenience. So really work with your clients to make them understand why things are the way they are and what you can do to help them get better retention. Okay, so that is it for this video. I hope this helped. I know there's a lot of things on here that were actual basics and things that we all know, but sometimes they just need to be said again, and also be emphasized, that they need to be told to our clients, because a lot of times we just expect some people to know, especially when we're saying the same thing over and over and over again. I know I find myself doing that as well. Like sometimes I'm like, wait, did I not tell you this? So you have to make sure that you are explaining these things to your client, and I guarantee you they will be a lot more careful when they're taking care of their lashes, and they will make sure they wash them once you tell them why they need to wash them or what will happen if they don't wash them. I think that's like the main concern, is washing lashes and having them fall off, and we all know that's not the case, but we have to make sure we're informing our clients. Okay, so that is it. I hope you guys liked this video. Comment down below if you have questions, if you want more info on lashes, topics, anything. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back with something new next time. Bye!